Hello, welcome to Lil's Vintage World. Welcome to a rom-com book reviews where I take a bunch of romantic comedy books, women's fiction books, whatever you want to call them, and review them for you. I have got quite a few. Got a little stack because I've been doing quite a bit of reading of this type of genre recently. So yeah, let's get going. I'm going to talk about them kind of like in increasing rating order. Did that make any sense? I don't know, I'm working up to my favourite essentially. That's what I'm trying to say. Right, let's get started then with Love Your Life by Sophie Kinsella. Sophie Kinsella is always kind of like one of, for me, like the originals of this genre, just paving the way for all of the other amazing books. And so because I love Sophie Kinsella so much, in particular, I love, of course, the Shopaholic series. That has a very, very special place in my heart. And a couple of her standalones as well, like Can You Keep a Secret? Amazing. Remember Me, love it. Cocktails for Three, although that's under Madeleine Wickham, but it's the same person. Anyway, so I tend to pick up everything that Sophie Kinsella writes. This one no exception. This is Love Your Life. This is about a woman called Ava who goes on a writing retreat in Italy, and there she meets this bloke and they kind of fall head over heels, completely infatuated with each other, very physically connected to each other, very passionate very quickly, and the writing pace of it matches that really well. And then we get back home to London and they realise, oh no, we have absolutely nothing in common. And then it's kind of like this relationship that's just an absolute struggle. There was parts of this book for me that I did like. I really liked the beginning, how the pacing matched the relationship. Like the relationship was going so fast and the pacing of the book was so fast, and I think that worked really, really well. But then back in London, I don't think, because the pacing slowed right down, I felt like it was a bit of a jolt of a gear shift type thing for me personally. I also have to say, I don't like any of the main characters other than her dog. I love the fact that a dog was such a prominent character in this book. I mean, she cannot train her dog at all. She's absolutely useless. But yeah, our two kind of main love interests, just absolutely, I didn't like either of them. And I think for me, that was the main problem for me of this book. I mean, I thought it was okay, but yeah, you win some, you lose some. It just wasn't one of my favourite Sophie Kinsella's. Am I still going to pick up everything that Sophie Kinsella writes? Absolutely. It's just this one wasn't for me. Next, I have You Got Anything Stronger by Imogen Edwards-Jones. This is about a group of women. We have one woman in particular that we focus on, but we have her friendship group that we also kind of dip in and out of through her perspective. And in this friendship group, we have marriages that are successful, marriages that are unsuccessful. We have women that are single and playing the field. We have children that are lovely, children that are not lovely. We have very serious illnesses. We have affairs. We've got a lot of things going on. But this book does it with quite a lot of humour, kind of sarcastic, a bit witty, and I actually really liked the humour. This book reminded me of Motherland. If you've never watched Motherland, I highly recommend it. It's a BBC sitcom about similar sort of thing. A group of, well, that one's about a group of school mums, but yeah, it's just wonderful. It's very, very funny. Go watch it. And it reminded me of Motherland. But for me, I was really, really enjoying it. And then the ending happened. And the ending, so our main character does something and there is no accountability for it whatsoever. And it just really ground my gears. It really got on my wick. So yeah, I felt like the ending for me let it down personally, because up to that point I was really, really enjoying it. But I was waiting for her comeuppance. And there was none. No comeuppance. No comeuppity. So yeah, liked it. But where was the comeuppance? Then I have The Vintage Shop by Libby Page. This is my second Libby Page. The first one that I read was The Lido, because I'm a swimmer. I had an interest in reading a book about swimming pool, and because I love vintage, I had an interest in reading a book about a vintage shop. This in particular is actually not about a shop, it's about a dress. This dress in particular, as is so beautifully shown on the cover, and this dress kind of unites these different women who are at different stages of their life in different places in the world, and this dress that is from the 1950s connects all of them. It is one of those books where each chapter is of a different person, so you go to a different person's story, but they do all interconnect at one point. And I liked this. Libby Page for me is what I call twee. She's nice, she's not offensive, she's just kind of did you hear that puppy? He's laying in his bed and he rolled over and his ball's there and he just went squeak. It's his favourite ball. It's a blue squeaky, so it just has to live in his bed with him. But yeah, apologies. I have gone completely off tangent. Yes, saying Libby Page, she's nice, completely like inoffensive and just enjoyable. Very much a type of book that I think a lot of people would enjoy. I like her. She doesn't like blow my socks off, because I think for me I probably like a bit more humour to it, but this was just lovely. And this is a book that I am going to pass on. I'm going to first offer this to my mom, actually, see if my mom wants it. And then possibly if my mum's like, once my mum's done, or if she doesn't want it, I'll pass it on to a friend who I know will absolutely love this, so yes. Next up I have Pre-Loved by Lauren Bravo. Lauren Bravo has written non-fiction before. This is her first novel, this is her debut, and this is about a woman called Gwen who, it is Gwen, isn't it? Yes, it is Gwen. Sorry, it's a while ago since I read this. A woman called Gwen who's at this kind of, I suppose, a crossroads in her life. So she has been made redundant from work, she has a little bit of savings put by, so she's not in like an urgent need to get a job because she's not really sure what she wants to do next. So she has a bit of time. So with her time, she goes and volunteers at a charity shop in which she dropped off her engagement ring because her engagement has fallen through and she hasn't really got closure from that relationship. She's also having a difficult relationship with her friends, also a difficult relationship with her family. And she just needs time to kind of like sort herself out. And for a debut, I thought this was so good. I really enjoyed it. I will say Lauren Bravo's writing for me is the type of writing where I really had to kind of like pay attention to like really soak it all in. But I really enjoyed it. I felt like it was a real proper like emotional roller coaster, and I feel like we were really getting to know Gwen as well, and I'm so glad to be like almost part of her story. Not that she's real, but it kind of felt like she was in a way. And I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The only reason why it wasn't higher was because in between Gwen's chapters were chapters that were just like a couple of pages, but they were entitled like map or tie or hat, whatever. And it's how that item came to be in the charity shop, or its life after the charity shop once it has been bought. And I mean, I find reading hard. I don't find reading easy. I never have. Don't think I ever will. But I found that I was coming out of Gwen's story and going into these, and then I find it harder to get back into Gwen's. I felt like I could have done with about 2/3 less of those and intersperse them a bit more. So yeah, but I would still highly recommend this because I really enjoyed it, and yeah, Gwen's story was lovely. Then I have You Had Me at Hello by Valerie McFarland, and wait for it, After Hello. Oh, a book's gonna fall. No, After Hello by Valerie McFarland. So this and then this are the same story, but this is an e-short that I bought because I was so invested once I finished this. So this is like just under 100 pages. I think I paid like 99p for it, but then I got closure of what happens after this, hence why it's called After Hello, which I have to say I absolutely loved, and I wish more authors did of this genre, because sometimes you're like, oh well, I wonder what happened to so-and-so, like did they end up splitting up like 2 weeks later as type thing, but we get actual closure. So, ow, I just dropped that on my foot. Ow, ankle, same thing. Okay, anyway, shall we talk about the book? Oh dear me. You Hand It Low by Vori McFarlane. This is my second and third Vori McFarlane. This is about a woman called Rachel who, when we first meet her, she's in a relationship with Reese, and she has been for years, absolute years, since she's been a teenager. So through the whole of university, through her 20s, you know, she's been with the same guy, and she ends up breaking off that relationship. It's done, it's over, what? And she's like, right, single. And then her friend, who she's been friends with for years as well, is like, you'll never guess who I saw the other day. I saw Ben. And she's like, what? So Ben was someone at university who she had like, they were friends, but there could have been more, but it was always the wrong time because she was with Reese, he was single. And so she accidentally, on purpose, tries to run into him and does run into him. And he explains that, you know, he's come to this area, he doesn't know anyone. Let's be friends, let's hang out. By the way, I'm married. And so again, it's one of those stories where it's just not the right time. It's not the right time for them to be together. And I just loved it. I really, really did. I loved both of them. I thought it was so, so good. And something in particular that I really liked about this book, sorry, I'm so hot, it cooled me down. Oh, it smells nice. I mean, I always go on Goodreads and I look at negative reviews, which I know is probably a weird thing to do, but I always find it interesting what someone finds as a negative, I often find as a positive. And someone in the negative said for this that they felt it could have been edited from like the mundane things. And for me, like the mundane things is what makes this book so good, because I feel like it makes it just so realistic. It brings the character to life and the city to life and her friends as well, and that relationship that she had. I in particular, I loved it, and I just found that a really interesting correlation. I mean, it is a big book for, you know, this genre, I guess, you know, it's over 400 pages, but I just absolutely whizzed through it and I really enjoyed it, and will definitely read more Vori McFarlane in the future and not wait so long, because the first Vori McFarlane that I read was probably about 6 years ago. And I've just got round to reading another, so oops. Although I have bought her new one, bear with me. I was doing the shopping the other day and I found these. They're on offer, so I got these two. So You Belong With Me by Vori McFarlane in this lime green, and then Love Story by Lindsay Kelk. So I'm looking forward to reading both of those, and will not wait 6 years to do so. And then last but not least, my favourite, I mean, I should say the You Had Me at Hello and After Hello, I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars because it was so, so good. Anyway, last but not least, my 5 out of 5 star, my creme de la creme, 7X's by Lucy Vine. This, for me, was a complete cover buy. I was in Sainsbury's. I take my mum shopping each week. My mum was looking at the clothes. I was like, I can't do this. Mum, I'm going to go to the books. I went to the books, looking at the covers, just, you know, wasting time, I guess, although you shouldn't waste away your life. And then I just saw this. I was like, ooh, cover. So well done, Simon & Schuster, to your art department, because it made me buy the book. So this is about a woman called Esther who has an interesting love life, shall we say, a lot of failed dates. And one day her and her two kind of best friends, they are day drinking, and they are in a pub and they see like this kind of retro magazine from a good few years ago, and they're just flicking through it, and there's this article that says that essentially each person has like these 7 exes, and they're like a certain type of ex, and there is the one in that. And so Esther's gone, oh my goodness, the one has passed me by. I'm going on all these rubbish dates, and no wonder they're rubbish, because I've already been with the one that I'm meant to be with. So she gets in touch with her 7 exes to try and find the one. When I first started this book, I got a page in and I was like, oh, I'm not sure. I got to about 2 pages in and I was like, 3, that was it, I was hooked. And this book and Lucy Vine, I've done a reading vlog of a Lucy Vine book, which is Date with Destiny, which is here. I very kindly received this one from the publisher. I bought this one myself. This one I received from the publisher. And in this one I spoke about her humour and how it just got me. This is so funny. So funny. And you know, I feel like I'm definitely cemented with Lucy Vine. I feel like Lucy Vine is going to be one of these authors that I am going to collect every single one of her books. And I'm going to have to like read every single one and keep reading. So on this shelf here, it's double stacked. So at the front I have my beautiful British Library Women Writers series. So women's fiction of the 20th century, and then at the top and behind, women's fiction of the 21st century, essentially. And I don't keep a lot of them. Once I've read them, I tend to get rid of most of them because I just don't have the space. I keep the ones that I know I'm going to read and reread and reread. So I have ones on here like Bridget Jones, for instance, going absolutely nowhere. Sophie Kinsella, my favourites like the Shopaholic series, Remember Me, Can You Keep a Secret, etc, etc. Jane Costello, I love Jane Costello, like Bridesmaids, The Wish List, etc. All the Single Ladies, love Jane Costello. And I feel like Lucy Vine has now just become added to that special place on my shelf of essentially it's going to be all Lucy Vine's works. I'm just going to read them and reread them because her humour is something else. The way she writes comedy is just another level. It's funny and it's silly, but it's just up my street. And if you like funny, silly humour, if you like watching Blackadder and Fawlty Towers and Only Fools and Horses, and you like that type of comedy, then you'll like Lucy Vine, because she kind of combines romance that you want with humour, with great friends to boot. And what I love as well in particular about both of her books actually, but when I was reading this I was very like conscious of it, is how flawed she writes her characters. I mean, Esther and her friends reminded me of me when I was at university, but they're meant to be a similar age to what I am. And it's like they've got stuck in this little time portal and they just can't like move on. But I love that about them. There's certain things that they did and I was like, I did that when I was at uni when I was like 20. Like, do you know what I mean? Not when I'm like in my 30s, and it was just, yeah. Anyway. Love it, love it, love it, love it. 5 stars, absolutely knocked my socks off. What can I say? Anyway, I am so warm now. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what recent women's fiction you have been reading recently. Thank you so much for watching this video. Take care and I shall see you soon for the next one. Bye.